today we have some special guests, some internet stars, and my favorite attorney, Miss Judith Hampton Nolan, and Miss Nan, viral internet star, as we all know her to be now. Thank y'all for coming today, and thanks for letting us set up in the boardroom to see we're a legitimate law firm.
Yes.
And
where all the magic happens.
all the magic,
All the licenses.
all the credentials,
All the credentials.
all on there. So,
Well, thank you for coming.
well, we appreciate it. It's always home when we come here. So, wanted to really get the story, the background, and just kind of some history on Hampton Law Firm, you know, what y'all do for the community, because you see it everywhere. We were at the Watermelon Festival weekend this weekend. We
Hence
were,
the shirts.
you know, yes, yeah. 59th annual Watermelon Festival.
Yes.
Got a little history behind it.
And
So-
it's in honor of DeWitt Crowe, too.
Yep, Mr. DeWitt Crowe.
Our mayor's daddy.
He actually, Mayor's father, and he actually came and visited me whenever I got hit by a tree, which is another story. But
I
he
have not
came
heard
to the
that story. I'm
hospital
gonna need that story.
and came and visited me.
When did you get hit by a tree?
2008.
Wow.
Apparently,
were
I
you
am not a
doing?
ninja, and trees do not make a sound when they fall.
Are there pictures?
No,
Dang.
no,
It was
no.
an oak tree.
Actually, there is one picture my brother took of a 2-inch gash on my head with.
It landed on your head?
yeah, I know.
It's probably a good thing. Anywhere else it'd have killed you.
Well, it went all over. I twist my spine. It's a long, but we'll say that for another podcast. You know.
Wow.
But it was but he did. He came visit me.
Yeah.
So it's
And
pretty
my daddy
neat.
would have just poured some liniment on that and said, all right, yeah, all right, go on.
I had a bruise on my brain and a bleed.
That's
But the tree did not win.
okay.
It became firewood. So
Okay,
and
that
I'm still
explains
here.
a lot.
Good deal.
You know.
I understand now.
So we were at the pageant, and all like always, and first thing to do is thanking the sponsors, and
Right.
thanking Miss Judith Hampton, Hampton Law Firm. So seems like everywhere we go in Union Parish, we hear that. So thank you for your continued support.
Absolutely.
All the time. All the time. I am delivering cakes and cookies, random, not a holiday. I'll come in the back door after lunch and I'll see all these boxes in the kitchen and I'll look at her and go, where am I going? She goes, okay, I want you to go to the sheriff's office, the police department, the fire department, the clerk's
Thanks.
office,
Yeah.
baked goods.
It
and-
makes everybody feel good. I feel good when somebody brings stuff through the door. I mean, when realtors, especially around Christmas, there's a lot of stuff, but you don't get that other times of the year. So I like to
Right.
just randomly a week I'll pick and I'll have somebody bake cakes and then deliver them. It's just fun.
And she tries to pick people that they do this for a living. I mean, it helps them too to get the business. So
Right.
Yeah.
okay, she's got a good heart.
Like
She's
with the
got a good heart.
cakes, I mean, it was actually my mother-in-law made the cakes, and I was just trying to get her name out there because she just started the cake business, and so everybody got the little card on their cakes, and then people started ordering cakes from her too. So it helps everybody.
Right.
Plus, it's just a happy for businesses around Farmville because, you know, times are tough. So happy
Yes.
is happy
And
is
the post
needed.
Right.
office, and they were like, nobody ever thinks of us. Hampton Law Firm does.
Right. Right.
You
We
know,
did today.
Yeah.
We did today.
Cool.
It's that relationship.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I know we were that with the bank. It's like, how do you build relationships and then take in like cakes and taking a small business and helping them get exposure, and then by also blessing other people with cakes, because
Right.
you never know somebody's having a bad day and
That's
a cake
right.
comes in the kitchen.
And
It,
I'll tell you,
It makes
and
a
it's from
difference.
Origin Bank. When Marlo was there, she would do that. She would send, a couple times a year, randomly, not at Christmas, just in a random March day, and send cakes, and it just makes you smile. And so that's where I got the idea. Actually, was from your former coworker,
Right. Right.
who we all love.
Yeah. That's
We love
Marla.
Marlo.
Yeah. Yeah. We started actually delivering Christmas gifts. We try to deliver them in around Thanksgiving now because everybody does
Everybody
it. during
does it at
You know, it's
Christmas.
like, oh, put it next to
Right.
the other 42 things I got. Thanks. You know.
A couple of years ago, I ordered Easter cookie cakes because nobody ever does it on Easter, but it's just as good of a holiday. So sent out Easter cakes to everybody. You know,
Right.
during the summer, I like to get those teas from Faith Aids and send them to the sheriff's office, Farmville Police Department, Fire Department, because they're out in the community in these uniforms and hot,
Right.
and it's just a nice gesture to show that hey, the community supports you.
And you
Because they
have
don't
to
get a
go
lot of
fast to
support
make
from
sure the
community
ice
these
doesn't
days.
Right.
Which I like.
Right.
I have to get there fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's important to sponsor stuff in the community and help and build those relationships because that's the only way we grow.
Right.
That's
So
right.
give us a little history about Hampton Law Firm. When was it founded? What's the background? How long you been around?
Okay.
You know?
Well, it was founded in, and I could be wrong, but it was around the 92, 93 area. We had just moved to Farmville from Dallas, Texas. My dad was doing insurance law, where he would travel to different states and do depositions, and to this day he'll tell you it was the worst job he's ever had. He was bored to death just doing depositions of insurance companies. So he wanted to start his own, and he reached out to Robert Earl, who used to be a big, we all remember Robert Earl.
Right.
And Robert brought him in and gave him an office, and he just wanted to do his own thing. And I remember him telling me the first year he made a whopping $8,000 for the entire year, which
Big money.
these days is like, how do you survive off
Right.
of that?
Right.
But he never stopped. He didn't quit. He would go. All the banks had other attorneys, and he tells the story where he would go to Marion State Bank and met with Mr. Sehan and the board members and introduced himself. And they already had an attorney, but he was just introducing himself.
Right.
And a few months later, they needed something. They called him, and then that relationship has just grown and never stopped.
Right.
So that's kind of the handshake deals, the relationships is how he built this law firm. And I started working here when I was 16 because they told me, you can drive now, you get a job in the summer.
Right.
And I loved it. And so I just wanted to follow in his footsteps, and I loved working with him. For him was a little difficult sometimes. But I always told him I wanted to work with you. And I think we worked really well together. And honestly, I did not learn how to be a lawyer from law school. I learned it from him.
Right.
And from being here. Started out running errands for people, then started drafting stuff as an assistant, and just kind of worked my way up. But I had to start at the bottom.
Right.
And that's kind of what the basis for this law firm was founded on, is my dad and how he built relationships and community relationships and sponsoring things in the community and going to community events and supporting others was really his main thing, and that's what he's told me all along. From this time I told him I wanted to go to law school was, you need to get out there. You've got to show them that you care.
Right.
And we do care. So that's kind of where it came from.
So I know Landon wanted to be a pre-law and go into law school.
I
So
did.
this is your
Do you
opportunity.
still want to?
No.
I don't blame you.
However, it's potentially not for the reasons that you would think. So from about the age of 7, I decided I want to be an attorney. You always hear, you can argue so well, you need to be an attorney. Well, we know being good at arguing isn't exactly
Right.
the top qualification for being
It
an
helps.
attorney. That's fair. And I had a lot of practice growing up. Hopefully my kids will be a little bit more respectful. But anyways, so from the age of 7, I was like, I want to be a lawyer. So went throughout high school, always loved school, and went to college to get a finance degree because I was like, I want to diversify myself for my law school application.
Right.
So I stand out and look different. Well, it was about last year, and I was like, I'm kind of wondering if this is really what God has for me, because this has always been my ambition, but what does the Lord have for me? And so I took about 3 days, and I just really prayed and prayed. And turns out the Lord was like, who told you I wanted you to do that? And so I was like, all right, maybe this isn't what the Lord has for me, but this has been my entire life that I've been prepping for one thing.
Right.
So how do I go from, okay, this is all I've ever wanted to be, to the next step? I don't know what that is. I don't like finance. I graduated in it, but I really don't like it. And so I was taking pictures at the time. I've always loved to be super creative. And Quentin was actually hiring me out for a couple of jobs.
I remember that.
My brain just totally went left.
I know where you're going.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Photography, freelance photography.
Times were tough.
Need to be specific.
This was
Time for what?
Time were tough,
pre-recession.
know.
Pre-recession here. I was in college. You had to do what you had to do. But so we were doing a lot of jobs and kind of working together. And I really took an interest to marketing because back in January of last year, I started my TikTok account. Well, I never expected to gain almost 90,000 followers in a year. That
Right.
was insane to me, but I really enjoyed it, and it was a creative outlet because finance killed
Stop
my
very
soul
creative. Yes.
Are you
every
one of those
single
girls
day.
that does that DIY stuff? Love it.
Yes. So, not specifically for my account. My account is actually based around vintage finds, and I have a 1969 Camaro.
Oh, wow.
So that's
You need to
that's
come
what
see
I
our
would
65 Chevrolet.
really.
Come out to the house. I got a whole house of vintage.
Please don't tell me that because I will come out there.
Traveling the East Coast, you wouldn't believe the stuff we've got in that
That's
cabin.
cool.
Do we need to do a collaboration between Lynn and Taylor and Hampton and
Come on
TikTok?
out. I'll show you how to build a log cabin. Oh my God. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So from there, I was like, I really like this, and so Quentin had High Tide Rise, our marketing company, already in the works, but it kind of just sat on the shelf for a couple of years, and then I came along, and together we were like, let's build this out with something that nobody else is doing, and TikTok's an awesome platform that we've collaborated with y'all on, and that's been incredible. So Nan's blown up, you know, we've
Well, I just can't.
we've gotten all this
You
exposure.
told me if I ever started watching TikTok, I'd get hooked, and he's right.
I told you,
I'm like-
it's a
I'm like,
wormhole.
don't go in there. I know not to go in there.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
But it's been a great platform for both, you know, and just in 2 months, I think now we're at what, 22,000, almost 23,
Cool.
and that's organic. So there's no money spent to prop those numbers up. That's just real, genuine, organic growth of people interested in what y'all do. So we, you know, with Judith, you given, you know, educational platform and law and advice and bringing the entertainment side of it of things and experiences, you know, it's fun.
She's
It's fun
always
for
the
us, you know.
entertainment. I am
Looking
not.
at me. I love working here. I'll be here 2 years in February. What was it? We were getting ready to finish the house.
We were doing a closing.
We're doing a closing.
And came
but
in to meet
the
with me that night.
attorney. I mean,
The loan
my
officer.
God, what was her? Mickey called me and said, y'all need to be at the attorney's office at 10 o'clock Friday. Okay. So I set up the night before, and I mean, till like 1 o'clock in the morning, organizing receipts, stuff
Yes,
that
she
we'd
did.
spent,
And she
and
brought
a
them.
3-ring binder and all that. And I mean, I had it, it was organized. We got here, and Kim come to the window, and she was like, just a minute. And directly Judith opened the door and brought us in here, and I sat over here, and Terry sat over there, and she goes, well, what questions do y'all have? And none. Mickey told us to be here at 10, and she was like, excuse me, I'll be right back. Apparently Mickey was confused. Did she come back in? And I said, well, I set up last night till 1 o'clock. Somebody's going to look at my folder.
Yeah. It don't even matter if it means
Yes,
anything.
And she
you know.
was like,
Okay.
this is really good. And we got ready to leave, and I was dressed. I was going to have to go to work. I was working at Walmart just for something to do, and I told her, I said, you don't have any job openings. Please don't make me go back to Walmart. And she goes, well, actually, I do. I will be here Monday.
That's how it went.
The
Yeah.
rest was history.
That's awesome. So we had been talking about the college thing, and we, you know, a lot of the stuff we talk about attorney and that life, but I know she had an interest. What was law school like? What's some of the things that people don't know about law school that gets overlooked or not talked about for those that are curious to taking that path?
I'm still curious about law school. Even
Well,
though
I'm
I
sure it's
decided
not like
to go.
Legally Blonde. It's a lot more
No,
difficult.
it is
than-
not.
It's not like
It's not.
Legally Blonde.
But you know, I went to Mississippi College Law School, which is completely different. From what I've heard, I've never been to LSU Law School, but I've heard it's completely different. There was a story that Jay McCallum, our Supreme Court Justice now, tells is that he went to LSU Law School and his wife Deanna went to Mississippi College, and when he came to visit her, he looked at the classrooms because it was much smaller in Mississippi and said, well, how do y'all hide from the teacher? And she said, you can't here. There's no way to hide from it. We're not big enough for that. And that's true. It's very small.
Right.
The dean would go around giving everybody high fives in the hallway as you were waiting for class. I ran out of gas one day. I was driving from Farmville back to Mississippi for my final exams, and I ran out of gas on the interstate. And the dean sent somebody out to pick me up, brought me to class so I could take my exam, and while I was taking it, had somebody go fill my car up and had it waiting for me at the school when I was done.
Wow.
And that's unheard of. You don't have
Yeah.
it. So law school for me was great. I loved it. It was hard. You do a lot of reading. I used to read for fun, and now I don't because it's not fun anymore to me. But it was a great experience that I had.
Right.
It was difficult. Mainly being away from family for me was difficult because my family was 2 hours away, which is not very far. That's why I chose Mississippi, because it was closer. But for me, that was the hardest part.
Right.
Was being on my own and making friends, because I'm not good at that.
Yes,
what you
you
mean.
are. Every person over 80 in Farmerville loves you.
It's like, yeah,
I
but at
feel
10,
so honored.
but 10:30 when you want to call somebody, they're not awake. You know.
Right. But this, I saw her one day. We had a little lady come in, and she just kind of borderline dementia. She was still driving, but you know, and she
know.
left. Do you remember that? I can't remember her name. I'm probably not supposed to say it
No,
anyway.
let's not.
But I went to run errands, and I was coming back. I was like, I saw her walking on Sterlington Highway, and I got back to the office. I said, Judith, Miss So-and-so was walking. I saw her walking on Sterlington Highway. She went, what? She grabbed her purse and her keys and run out that back door like somebody lit her tail on fire. And when she was hollering at me, you call her daughter and see if there's any problems. And well, what had happened is she'd already gotten to the gas station before Judith could get down there. Her car had broke down, and she was just walking up to the gas station. You know, but
it was
this,
like 100-degree
yeah,
July
I mean,
heat.
she
Right,
never
right.
even
I mean, it
batted
was-
an eye. Out the door she went flying to go find this lady and bring her to the office.
Yeah, I called the cops too to get look for her too.
There were helicopters hoovering, National Guard got called. But no, but that's you need help, something happened, just call Hampton Law Firm.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I'll
Yeah.
attest to that. I mean, 15 years of doing business with y'all. I mean, that's why we have the relationship. And even with your dad, I
Right.
hate I missed the ribbon cutting because he was president of the Lake Commission. And I just called him. I was like, hey, I got a crazy idea. Meet me out at the spillway, you know. And we just walked in. I was like, we could bring this beach back, you know. And he's like, okay. And then, you know, now it took 6 years for
Right.
us to get it done, but you know,
But it got done.
It got
yeah, but
done.
he initiated it and got approved, and you know they carried it out. But you know that was the kind of person he was, and I see that in you the same thing. I mean, anytime I've ever said, "Hey, I got another crazy thing to sponsor," you know, it's like.
And I
okay.
remember specifically I mean, it was probably a month after COVID hit, and everybody was panicked and things were shutting down, and it was probably 11 o'clock at night, because I'm really bad about that. I'm brainstorm late at night. And so I texted him, Quentin, and said, are you awake? And I'm sure he was going, what is it now? And I had these crazy ideas about delivering stuff to local agencies, to the hospital. We did a Chick-fil-A and law enforcement, and you rolled with every crazy idea I had. and then you come back and shoot me some more. And
Right,
so
right.
that's just how, I mean, that's how people should work together, in my opinion. Everybody.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I say I don't know why we have to recreate that. I feel like I wasn't around a long time ago, but I feel like that's how business was back in the day. And when things before the internet, you had to
Yes.
work together.
Yes.
That your community
In the
was
face-to-face,
Yeah.
and you
Right.
walk in the door and see them.
And something, but our generation got away from that. Mm-hmm. You know, and I don't know, internet or made people get in their own silos, or
Yes.
you know, and it's like that's been the conscious war. I guess the last 10 years, like breaking down those walls and like, hey, let's.
It's not like it used to be. It's not. I mean, why do you want to get out and go do something when you can just get on the internet and order it?
Yeah.
Right.
You had Grubhub. Why? There's no interaction. When I grew up, the whole neighborhood got together on Saturday night and the kids took turns sitting on the ice cream maker while they were turning it, while the dads were talking and the moms were talking, kids were playing volleyball or badminton or croquet. Y'all whacking each other with the croquet mallets.
Right.
But I'm just saying, you don't have family reunions anymore like they used to, or nothing. Just people don't. The less they have to interact, the better they like it. That's just because that's become the normal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm behind. I mean, I know people look at us in Farmville, and I'm talking about my firm specifically, but other businesses that were behind the times. Like, I don't have an online forum where we're going to converse online, like a virtual assistant type thing. And honestly, I don't want to. I never will, because I want that face to face. And if it can't be face to face on the phone, but I mean, I don't think that's ever going to change with me because that's just how I think it works better.
Right.
It is having those relationships.
I agree.
I mean, I can get behind some things like the credit cards, paying with credit card. My dad never did that,
Right.
but I brought that in because that's just easier.
Right.
But the whole online format of doing everything online between client and lawyer, that just doesn't work for me.
Right.
I don't think that's the best way you can help somebody.
No, I agree. I think that's why y'all were open to TikTok, because it's still a platform that is personable. So it is that face-to-face
Right.
versus like a website trying to push everybody to.
Yeah.
That just feels robotic. You
And,
know.
and yes, it's a law firm, but we're just people.
Right.
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 We're just people. I'm just country people.
And you want to call, and you get a lot of calls about, well, what's the price of this or what's the price of that? And I can give you an estimate, but the thing is, I need to look at you face to face, and I need to see what you're concerned about and what your goal is and what the problem is before I can really tell you everything that needs to be done. I mean, I can give you a general format, but to be a good lawyer, to me, you've got to get inside the client's head and figure out what they really need,
Right.
protection-wise, and what their end goal is. And you can't do that unless you actually have conversations with people.
Right.
And I feel like the push towards online virtual format just feels very much like profit is the bottom line.
Yes, yes.
And I mean, I know it's that way with a lot of different businesses, but at the same time, I really appreciate the environment in Hampton Law Firm. You walk in, I've met with you, I've met with Nan and everybody who works here. Profit doesn't seem like the bottom line. You can walk in and tell whenever somebody doesn't care about you, they don't care what you have going on. I just care about your checkbook at the end of the service.
Yeah.
And y'all aren't like that. You've got an
No.
incredible heart for serving people.
9
and I
times
think
out of
that's
10, I'll
awesome.
hear her say, "No, you don't know anything till it's done." You don't hear of that anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't hear of that anymore.
That's just a pet peeve of mine. I don't like to charge until the work's done.
Until it's
and I'll have some
done.
people that insist, I want it off my plate, Jeff, let me pay. And I mean, I'm not going to
Okay,
fight
but
you
I
on
mean-
that, but
Right.
I'm not going to say you owe this until you've seen I've done the work.
Right.
Right.
And that's how my dad was, and it's just something he ingrained in me, I guess.
And also, you know, your work's quality.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, it is. But what people need to understand, though, too, is that some things take time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is
And
a big,
it's just
the time, because you can go to, for instance, real estate closings, which we're all familiar with. You can go to a big title company and they can get it done faster than I can. There's no doubt about that, because they have more people and that's all they're focused on,
Right.
is getting it done. But I'm more focused on making sure it's right.
Right.
Because I've seen people, and I've had a closing where it wasn't us, but another title company. Not that they necessarily did anything wrong, but they missed a mortgage.
Right.
And that costs somebody over $150,000, and our clients can't afford that.
Right.
You know, that would be detrimental and devastating to them. And to me, my dad always told me, and this is one thing he told me when I started working for him, because I was speedy. I wanted everything done off my desk before the end of the day. And he looked at me and he said, your job is to make my job easier. He said, your job is to make it quality, not fast. And that's stuck in my head. Don't rush it, do it right.
she
Right.
has a lot of quality. You should see her desk. But she knows where everything is. I'll say, "Do you know where the such and such file is?" They've called. Just a minute.
Oh,
It's right there.
I'm guilty. That's called
Yeah.
pile.
Yeah.
That's
How
pile,
do you know?
pile
Right.
management is
Exactly,
what we call that.
exactly.
You know.
I
That's
come
the most
unhooked.
recent pals. These are the older pals. Yeah.
But she, I mean, was stressing. There was so much going on, and I told her, I just grabbed her hand. She came in there, and I said, she's like, "What? You need to go chill somewhere, or you're literally fixing to jump out of your skin." And she said, "I've just got to get all this stuff done." Judith, who's going to do it when you have a meltdown? Oh, and she took a breath, and she said, "You're right, I do." I said, "Yeah, it'll be here when you get back."
Right.
But she wants to get it done. She wants to get it all done for all these people. She's the only attorney. Well, I heard something happen, and I heard all this loud noise, and I went in there and it was like, just whoosh, off the desk. And I looked at the floor and I said, "You feel better now?" She goes, "Actually, I kind of do." I said, "Well, let's pick it up then." And we picked it all up, got it straightened. I guess about a month later, she was starting to stress again, and I went in her office to say something. She looked at me, and I just went, "Okay, you need to leave the office. We're not doing that again."
Right.
She was like, started laughing. bless her heart,
Yeah.
she's got to make sure everybody is taken care of.
Yeah, that's when you care about what you do, you get caught up in it, and you will take it home.
And she really does. She
Right.
really does. When Sarah and JB are with their dad, which is this week, I know she didn't leave last night till 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Right.
Because I could tell because the alarm is never set. The
Right,
next
right.
morning
You
when
know
I
who-
come
yeah,
in,
you know
it
who
goes
worked.
dee dee, not dee dee dee. Judith was here late.
Right.
I mean, she just wants to take care of everybody, but God love her heart. You can't take care of everybody.
Well, you never are going to get to a stopping point.
No.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the work never gets done. That's what I learned from I was in lending, and you get so many deals going. You're never going
It's
to get to a
never
point where you
done.
go, I've got it all
I'm
done
done.
for today. No.
No.
But I always, I had a boss tell me he'll be there tomorrow.
Yep, that's
You know, and
exactly
that's
right.
what I had to learn is, and we talk about it from being self-employed. It's like you will take this home,
Yeah.
and the next thing we know, it's 9 o'clock at night, and we still talking about some work.
Just leave it alone.
I was like, you know, mental health wise.
Because that's going to affect y'all.
Yep.
Right.
It does.
Yeah.
Because I know Patterson sometimes, I just want to look at him. My sweet darling love. He's not a big talker. In the evenings, we're watching TV, and I'll be like, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm watching TV." "Okay." I grew up, when you go to bed, that is bedtime. I get all comfortable, and I'm just like, and he starts talking. "Tomorrow I'm going to pick up so-and-so and so-and-so. We're going to give..." "Okay, Terry, that's good." "I picked up the carburetor for the old truck." "That's great, Terry." And then he asks the ultimate question that has me sitting straight up. He goes, "How much money's in the bank?" "What?" Jeez. "Okay, I'm up." "I don't know. I didn't look."
Now I gotta go look.
Now I gotta go look. Now I got some explaining to do.
Right.
This went here and this went here. "Oh, I'm up. Are you going to come to bed?" "No, thank you."
Yeah, I'll start talking the whole third language if I start getting asked. When I get tired, my brain just starts. I'll make up words, and then it's one of
It's
the
just
things.
crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, I went to Texas this last weekend. Oh, God, on the way to Texas, I had to have the police called. I stopped at a big truck stop because Terry bought me a new vehicle, and I smoke, and I'm not smoking in it because it smells like a new car. And he paid a lot of money. He worked hard for that, to do that for me. So I get all the way over close to the Tyler exit, and I stopped at a truck stop. I'm going to go to the bathroom, get me something to eat, smoke a cigarette. So I'll go inside, use the bathroom, get me something. I love those taquitos. They're bad for you, but they are so freaking good. And I walk out, and there's this crazy-looking dude leaning on the hood of my car. I said, "Sir, you're on my car." Well, he stands up and looks at me. He goes, "Where have you been?" "I have been waiting. I'm starving." And walks over, grabs a big girl's taquitos. That is, yes.
no.
And he said, "Did you get the money for me?" And I was like, "Oh, hell no." And I turned around and went back in the store and said, "This dude out here just grabbed my food, talking to me like he knows me." And they said, "Oh," they called the cops. Apparently he's pulled this before. He was waiting for me to try to get in my car, unlock it to get in, because he jumps in the passenger seat. "I need you to take me so-and-so."
Oh no.
So I told him, I said, when the police got there, I said, "No, I don't want to file charges. He can keep the taquitos. Y'all just make sure." I don't know if he's got a vehicle. I don't want him to start following me, okay?
Right.
So I get out on the highway, and I'm thinking, I'm just going to smoke one. So I cracked my window to get my cigarette, and right when I light it, damn Amber Alert went off on my phone. Bang, bang. God threw the lighter. He put an alarm in this car, but he didn't. I just thought he did. But yeah, this last weekend, it's crazy. Grab my taquitos.
I would have had to throw some hands on him.
Well,
I'll fight for food.
I was so shocked.
Right.
I'm from Texas. Texas people don't do that.
No. Matter of fact, in Texas, they pull over to let you pass.
He had to have been
You
from
know.
some other state.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, but this girl was crazy. I mean, I was there the night she come to the house and tried to nap the baby. Because I asked him one time, "Why did you marry me?" He said, "Because you were the prettiest thing I ever had, and I only wanted fine things."